Um, if you say the name Ahmed, literally half the city, they're going to stop and they're going to say what? The other name is Mohammed. You say Mohammed, the other half of the city. So between those two names, you're going to nail most men, and you're going to get it right with one of those two names. So
I still don't recommend you going around just yelling out Ahmed or Muhammad and seeing who responds. Probably not wise.
not a wise one. But actually, what they do over there, because so many people have the same name, no joke, they call each other by their last name. That's
Ah,
kind of how they get, and that so many people have the same name. Yeah.
okay.
So anyway, that's a little bit in for your info over there.
So I started talking about how difficult those Nile
Mhm.
River
Go ahead.
cruises are. So do you want to just say a little bit about how what you have to do with those companies to make sure that they're legitimate and
Mhm.
that they're doing the things you need?
Yeah. So the something I strongly recommend is that you start the trip in Aswan and not in Cairo. This is a very
Hmm.
common mistake most companies make. And just logistically, it's not in your best interest to do it that way because you get out in Cairo and now you got to go from Cairo into the city. You know, it takes you an hour or whatever. You got to check into your hotel. Later, you're going to be checking out. You're going to be going back to the airport. You're going to be going into, let's say, Aswan or something. You're going to sleep at a hotel there for one night. It's a lot of work and checking ins and outs and extra costs for nothing. So the best way to do it is we tell people to arrive in Aswan on a Wednesday or Friday by, let's say, 1 o'clock. And if they can't, it's okay if they sleep in Cairo, but let's just keep them at the hotel. I'm sorry, at the
Mm.
airport hotel.
Ah,
Um, that way we don't have to be taking an hour out and then an hour again. And if you've been flying for a long time, you just get some sleep over there. The next day you start afresh. The nice thing when you get to Aswan, you go straight onto the cruise, to the Nile cruise boat.
mm,
So you don't have to go to a hotel. Your stuff is being taken straight onto the boat. Um, but of course, we can only do that certain days a week because the Nile cruise starts on very specific days of the week. So typically, Wednesday and Fridays are the days for boarding, which means Thursdays and Saturdays they take off. That's typically how
and these
that
are
whole thing is done.
short. These are short cruises. These aren't the long 7 night cruises that people think of. They're shorter.
They're 3 days. So
Right.
they go so pretty much the day that you arrive, let's just say that either way, I mean, it could be a Tuesday or Thursday and you've slept at the Cairo airport, or this is a Wednesday or Friday before 1 o'clock, and you've now basically arrived in Aswan. We want to take you to the sites directly. So there's the High Dam, which is very popular to see over there. And there's the Temple of Philae, which is absolutely beautiful. It's an absolute beautiful site. The thing had fallen apart, but they had the actual relics, the remains, and they reconstructed it on this island, and you get there by boat. So
Mm,
it's really a good first impression of your time in Egypt to be going and
hmm.
seeing these things. And after you've been shown these things, we then get you onto the boat, and at that point, all the meals are included. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So I mean,
The fall. Tell me.
it's like in a domestic or a cruise that Americans are used to, in that it's including your beverage, entertainment, your meals, and and you have a cabin that you're sleeping in, but it's not an Americanized cruise.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up. The cruise ship, or whatever we want to call this, it's nothing like you'd imagine from Alaska. Remember, this is a very narrow Nile River, so think about more like the boats you'd see out in Mississippi or something like that, not the kind of ships you're going to see out in Alaska,
Right.
you know?
Well, I don't know why you're talking about Alaska. I don't know if you thought
No, no,
I
no.
said that. Okay.
Not you, but some people
Oh
when they go on these Nile cruises, they're thinking these big ships
no.
with like 5,000 people with these huge buffets and stuff like that. These are the Nile River is narrow anyways, and it's
So,
not very
yeah.
deep. So they're not these huge ships.
Right.
These
They're
are
river
boats
cruise.
similar to what. They're river cruise, similar to what you'd find
Yeah.
out in Mississippi or something like that. Not what you'd find in like the Caribbean or Alaska. That's what I'm trying to
Right,
say.
exactly. They're not, yeah, they're not the big ocean ships. These are river cruise ships that are small, narrow. So yeah, it's not going to have like the Broadway shows and those kinds of entertainment options.
Yep, that's exactly right. So that first day you've got into Aswan, you don't have to stay at a hotel in Aswan. We get you straight onto the boat. And usually what we do actually is we have one of our representatives take your stuff onto the boat and you go straight to sightseeing. And then that's when you see the High Dam as well as the Temple of Philae. And then that night you're sleeping on the boat. The boat doesn't leave yet though, although you're sleeping there on a Wednesday or Friday night. On day two, we take you to the airport in Aswan and we go straight to Abu Simbel. Abu Simbel. This is the second most famous archaeological site in Egypt after the pyramids. Um, and it's an absolutely gorgeous site. And we are lucky nowadays because back in the day, they didn't have these flights, especially during COVID times and stuff like that. So what ended up happening were people were waking up at like 5, 6 in the morning, driving for 4 hours to see this beautiful site, then driving all the way back to Aswan to get onto the boat to leave. Now we don't have to worry about that. Now we're basically taking that flight, which is only like 35, 40 minutes long. You leave all your luggage, you leave everything in your room. Just you get there in the morning, you have like a nice 2, 3 hours.
I lost you.
Wait, you
Okay,
lost me?
I think you're back. So you
Okay.
had just said
So
you leave things in your room.
yeah, and we take you straight to the airport. You go to Abu Simbel. You're picked up over there. We have somebody with a sign with your name on it. You're taken straight to this gorgeous site. You have a 2 or 3 hour tour of it. You then go back to the airport. We get you back to Aswan. You're taken back on the boat, and then at 2 o'clock the boat leaves. It officially starts going upstream northwards on the Nile cruise. And you'll start making sites. You'll start making stops along the way. Your tour guide is actually with you the entire time on the boat. He has his own
Yeah.
room. And incidentally, if you're a female solo traveler or you're a bunch of females traveling together, we typically provide you with female tour guides. That's how we do it. Um,
I did
but
want to, yeah, I wanted to make a point about security. So that is something that you do is you assign a tour guide to the people on this tour and they stick with you throughout. And don't you have security as well sometimes?
Depending on the size of the group, but we provide it upon request. Especially for Americans, sometimes they want the added security. So we actually have like people that are licensed by the government. I mean, they're kind of equivalent to like what our FBI is. Um, and if people just, I mean, to be honest, I think it's fine just with the tour guides and all of this. But I mean, sometimes people want the added security, and we do it. We will provide
Yeah.
that added security upon request. It's easy for us to do it. Um, but on this, now on the second day, the boat has taken up. You're going northwards, and your tour guide is on there, and you're making stops each day. You're making stops on this day at sites like Edfu, Kom Ombo, things like this. These are all beautiful archaeological sites that should not be missed. And what's nice about these boats, they know the exact time to stop at them too, because they're prettiest at certain hours of the day. And some of them are prettiest at night. And that's why they're like all nice and lit up. So
Right.
it's really good to go out there in the nighttime to see that sort of thing. Um, so that's what you're doing on the second day. Um, and then on the third day, you wake up in the morning and we have a letter. It's an itinerary letter. It will tell you exactly what time to be in the lobby and meet up with your tour guide and all of that. And you'll be taken out and there's like a horse carriage waiting for you right there. And you get on it and you're taken to another site. So the sites look different from one another. They're all really beautiful to see. And every day you're making typically about 2 stops.
So I think that people who are cruisers will be confused a little bit by this. But so what it is that you're not doing like shore excursions with the cruise line. Are the tour that you're purchasing with Charlie is all inclusive, so that you are doing these tours off the boat on the ports, while the people who are not with Charlie's tour are going off on their own, or they're doing other things. So you stick with your guide.
In our case, I mean, we have a package tour. Some of them are 11 days, some are longer, but the Nile portion is a piece of this puzzle here. But you have your own tour guide there. So as the boat is stopping at these different sites, everybody's getting on and everybody's getting off. So the difference, though, is with our customers, they have their own tour guide and they have the horse carriage waiting for them. They have all these kind of services.
Right.
And you're made sure that every day you're seeing all this kind of stuff. And the following day, on the third day on this cruise, you wake up early in the morning because we take you on that hot air balloon ride. So your tour guide is waiting with you. You're taken off the boat again. You're taken on this hot air balloon ride. Your stuff is being taken to the hotel because on that day now, you're being taken off the cruise. And your stuff is taken for you to your hotel as you're exploring. And this is the day that you're in Luxor. And that Luxor is so packed with stuff to see. I mean, there's so much there. And we do our best to show you all the highlights.
So can I ask you, what are you seeing from the hot air balloon?
You just see it from above. There are some archaeological sites you see from above, and you see the landscape. And you're also seeing people's homes. You've got all these kids that are like waving to you. They're up on the roof. And like some of the kids, especially when the hot air balloon ride takes off, like they're running with the hot air balloon. And they're like, it's a fun thing they do. And all the kids are running. Who can keep up with the hot air balloon? So it's an experience. I mean, between the landscape, archaeological sites, people on the rooftop waving at you, and kids running, you're not going to be seeing that every day of your life, you know?
No. Yeah, that's totally special. Like in Cappadocia too, when you do Turkey, there are places in the world that just they scream for hot air balloon rides.
Yep. Yeah, and the one in Luxor is a nice one for sure. And that day, we give you a full day's tour. We give you, and you know, also the temples, the Luxor temples. We show you this. So by the end of that day, I mean, you've really packed in a lot. That day starts early because of that hot air balloon ride. And it's at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So it's a long day packing a lot.
And that is one thing that Charlie's Tours do. They take you to every highlight that you could possibly want to see. And it's a great value because you're taking advantage of the way that he does tours, which is, you know, sometimes you're with a group, sometimes you're with a different group, sometimes you're private. Are these all group tours for Egypt or private or a combination?
Everything in Egypt is private except for when you're going on the boat rides. And of course, when you're on the hot air balloon, because other travelers are experiencing the hot air balloon with you.
Okay.
That's how that whole thing works.
No, go ahead. No, you're good. You're in Luxor. What do we do next?
There's also a really nice market that you're taken to in Luxor. You know, one of those bazaars that you'd imagine in the Middle East and North Africa. So that's a lot of fun. You see Luxor at night, which is at its most beautiful. You know, you can see it in the day also, but the nighttime, that's when it's really like, wow. The lighting they have there is something special. And you sleep in Luxor that night. The following morning, before we relocate you to Hurghada, that's one of the resort towns, we will show you another site. It's called Karnak. And that tour takes about 3 hours because it's really a big site over there. So like you mentioned, lady, we do pack this stuff. However, because this is a private tour, if people say, hey, you know what, we appreciate it, but we could do without a lot of that. We're okay with only 5 sites as opposed to 12. It's not going to offend us any. You know, we can simply reduce the amount of sites for you. But we always like to offer you more, and you can always say, you know what, we would like less, as opposed to we give you less and then you say, hey, why aren't you giving me more? Or why aren't we seeing all the highlights? You see, So this way, we're never going to offend anybody. That's
Yeah.
the right way to do it in my mind.
And we have worked together on certain clients who want to do something specific that maybe wasn't in your tour, and then we just make room for it and find it and take care of it if it's an unusual request. No problem to customize these.
Exactly. But otherwise, we have like two package tours for Egypt. One is the grand one, which we're kind of talking about now. The other one is the classic tour. Really, the only big difference is the classic tour does not include the Red Sea resort towns of Hurghada and Sharm. Um, well, I say people, I should say more Americans, when they think of Egypt, they think more of the ancient sites. That's just Egypt. You think of pyramids, you think about all those ancient
Camels.
sites,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The Americans are not thinking so much of the sea and coral and all of that. Europeans, yes. If you ask Europeans about Egypt, they know all about that. Americans, not so much. So if Americans just want our classic tour, meaning remove the Red Sea, we'll do it. It's perfectly fine with us. But generally, we recommend that they keep it in, and we make this a grand tour of Egypt, which takes 11 days. Otherwise, we can do the classic in 9 days, basically by cutting out the resort towns of
That's
Sharm and
interesting.
Hurghada.
I hadn't actually thought about that because I send a lot of people to Israel, of course. I'm Jewish. And Israel has some great beach towns and resort towns, the Red Sea. I mean, that's like what people think about a lot with Israel, as well as the historical sites. So it's interesting that they're not thinking about that with Egypt. But you're right.
Yeah. I think because just Egypt's. I mean, from all the countries I've been to, the two countries with the best archaeological sites, Cambodia and Egypt. I mean, these two countries, I think. And there's one place in Thailand that's really nice too. But yeah, Cambodia and Egypt automatically, and in Italy, of course.
Right.
So I think people are just so focused on that they kind of forget about the Red Sea. But from all the countries I've been to, the third best coral I've seen anywhere in the world is Australia. The second best is the Philippines. The first in the world, in my opinion, is Egypt. In Sharm and Hurghada, the coral is so big and so colorful. It's really a pity to miss that. If you have the extra time, if you have the couple of extra days, we highly encourage people to do it. So from Luxor, what we typically do is have a private transfer. It takes 4 hours, and it gets you to Hurghada. And there's like a nice Marriott hotel there. There's other nice hotel, and they made a really beautiful resort there. It's not just some tacky resort or boring resort or something like that. It's a nice place to hang out, to walk around and hang out and talk to people and stuff. It's very fashionable. And it's first world. I mean, it's a first class type of resort, this thing.
So is it appropriate for girls or women to wear swimwear? I mean, I'm not sure how covered they expect you to be in a resort.
And no, you go over there, there's a bunch of like pretty Russian girls wearing bikinis and like going to the beach and stuff. No. It's yeah, they wear whatever. I mean, you're not going to go topless. That one you're not going to see like you see in Europe, but
Right.
bikinis, you'll see that just all over.
Okay.
So,
But it is a good idea if you're traveling through the Nile and all of this area to be respectful of the culture that you're in. I always tell my Jewish clients that you don't need to advertise being Jewish. Like, it's safer for them not to understand your religion. So just don't wear it on your sleeve. But it can be safe, but it's a little scary for Jewish travelers to go to a place like Egypt. And I know I have many of them who are concerned, but that's one of the reasons why Charlie gives us security also.
yeah, my thought is with politics and religion. Have you ever given your opinion to somebody, Eleni, and they've said thank you? No.
Yes, actually.
But you're a boyfriend or husband, maybe. Nobody else sits there. Well, thank you. That was good insight. No, it never ends up that way. So, better to talk about food and music. Everybody loves that stuff. Um,
Very true.
so now you're in Hurghada, and you've transferred from Luxor after we gave you that 3-hour tour of Karnak, and you're enjoying that marina, and you're enjoying the resort town. Um, the following day, you are taken on a boat ride, and you're going to see this beautiful, beautiful coral right there. You're going to be
Hmm.
very much surprised by how beautiful this
Is it
place
like
is.
a glass bottom boat?
No, no, no. It's a regular boat.
Mm.
It's a regular boat, and you have snorkeling gear and all this. We provide all
Ah.
this, the snorkeling gear. Um, and you will see the best coral anywhere on the planet, or at least from the countries that I've been to over
Mm.
there. And then lunch is included that day on the boat. Afterwards, you're taken to a place called El Juna. El Juna. Americans aren't going to know what that thing is, but if you say that name to any like rich Arab people, they know exactly where that place is,
Mm.
because especially even in like shows, Arab shows, and all like the rich people, that's where they go. Like all the richest Arab peoples, they have
Mm.
yachts over there.
Mm.
Like the big money, like the place to kind of be seen, the hot spot is
Mm.
there. Um, it's spelled EL next word Gouna. And I'm driving, so I'm not reading the stuff off the screen. I just have it all memorized. So I got a good memory.
That's
Um,
good. Unlike me.
so um, once you're taken there, we actually provide you a tour of this place. Um, my buddy and I remember when he had seen it, like we were so shocked by how fancy, high, how high end it
Mm.
is. With it's yeah, just very like posh and all that. And we had kind of joked like, we thought Newport Beach in California was a big deal, and we kind of were like, man, Newport Beach is like poor man's country compared to what we're looking at right here. Just yeah, we'd never seen so many huge yachts and just money being
Mm.
flaunted everywhere like over there. And then they have the marina. They've got nice restaurants and all this kind of stuff too. So
Mm.
it's a nice, and you know what? Also, lady, it's a good break, right? Because we're showing
Yeah.
you so much archaeology, right?
Hmm.
And it's like and we did some other cool stuff. We did the horse carriage ride. We did the hot air balloon ride. Now we're going to the water. We're doing some nice, it's good to change things up in your brain like that. So when you
Right.
get back to the archaeology, you're going to appreciate it more.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, you can get really tired of ruins. If you just do ruin after ruin after ruin, you're like, okay, that's enough. I've seen enough
Exactly.
churches. Yeah, yeah. So it's good. It's
Yeah,
good that you break it up.
exactly. So what we then do is after Hurghada, we fly you to Cairo.
Mm.
We fly you to Cairo. And that day we do a full day tour of Cairo. Um, and you've got your own driver, you've got your own tour guide, and they're different people. They're not the same person, by the way.
Mm.
And you're seeing the highlights. There's the presidential palace that you see. There's a beautiful mosque, gorgeous mosque that you see over there. There's some archaeological sites that are important as well. But we make sure that we're showing you some of the most important things in Cairo on the day that you arrive. And you get there about 9 o'clock in the morning. Your stuff, once again, is taken to the hotel. You're going straight to sightseeing. So you see what we're doing in all these cases. We don't pick you up from the airport, take you to the hotel, check in, leave your stuff there, go back into the traffic, go to the site. No, we have people taking your luggage, going straight to your hotel or going straight on the boat,
Hmm.
not wasting your time. You're going straight to sightseeing.
Right.
That's how we do it. Um, so we make sure that your time is used wisely, and that we're not wasting it. Um,
Hmm.
so the thing with Cairo is you're going to see different facets of this place. There's certain parts where like the buildings are not finished. You just look at this and just like, so what the heck am I looking at? Right? Like it looks you don't know what you're looking at.
Mm.
Basically, you just have no idea what the heck you're looking at. Um, then there's other instances in which um, you are in some areas like basically their version of Beverly Hills, and it is like, oh, huh, and it's such a contrast
Mm.
between things that are frozen in time that you'll swear nothing's changed in 300 years.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden you're in Beverly Hills, right? And on one hand, you've got women who are covering up everything,
Hmm.
right? And now you're in the Beverly Hills and these women are dressing sexy, showing like, yeah,
Hmm.
and Egyptian women too. It's not foreigners. I mean, it's actual Egyptian women
Hmm.
like that. So it's from the buildings to the people to everything. It is just like in one day seeing that contrast, it's really,
Hmm.
it's a lot and it's fun, but it takes your brain a while to kind of like digest everything that you're seeing because
Right.
it is definitely a lot. So after the sightseeing, we take you on a feluca,
Mm.
um, and that's also a Nile cruise. Of course, not like a 3-day one, but it's
Right.
an evening one that we do in Cairo, and we have some music going, and you've got the whole city lit up, all the buildings nicely lit up,
Mm.
and that's really fun. And after that, we get you back into the car. That's when we take you to the Beverly Hills area and we
Mm.
show you all the kind of nightlife stuff and just the fashionable restaurants and all this kind of stuff.
Mm. Cool.
Um, that's what you do on that day. So on the 10th day now, because typically you leave on the 11th day unless you want to stay longer and make a day trip to Alexandria and things like this.
Mm.
Uh, on the 10th day, guess where we go to, Lainey? We save the best for last,
The
don't we?
pyramids.
You got it. How did you figure that out?
I
How
know.
did
I'm just brilliant.
you? um, so there are 3 pyramid sites that we take you to,
Mm.
right? Um, and one of the confusing things is people think that at the main, the main pyramids, that the one everybody knows, they think that's the best one to go inside to
Mm.
see what it looks like inside there. It's not. It's a different site that we take you that has the
Mm.
best inside, and you're kind of climbing through it, and you will hear some bats and stuff like that, just to let you know. Um,
But you don't
you know,
have like snakes all over the ground and like in Indiana Jones and
no, no, just some birds and bats and things like that, but no snakes over there. At least not that I have heard of. Um, and then we kind of leave the best one there for the last with that main pyramid.
Mm.
Um, and that's also where you go camel riding,
Mm.
right? That's where you also go camel riding. And you take lots of photos over there. I mean, lots and lots of photos. I encourage people to stick with your tour guide because when you start drifting off and doing your own thing, somebody will approach you and they're going to say, "Hey, let me take the photo for you," and then you can get into problems and saying, "Well, I charge
Mm.
for this. Give me $20." Don't
Right.
don't get involved with that stuff. Do not buy water there. You have to bring your water from your hotel. I don't
Mm.
care what it is. Do not buy the water from there because you may get some people who act like they're opening up the cap for you.
Mm.
And then here's your water. Here you go. And then they hand it to you and
Mm.
it's not clean water. And then you get food poisoning and stuff like that. So
Ah.
stick to your tour guide, bring your water from your hotel and make sure
Mm.
it's nice and sealed. These are little things that we remind you when you're on the tour as well, but these make
Right.
a difference between having an amazing time versus spending more time in the bathroom than taking photos
Yeah,
at the
totally.
pyramids, right?
Yeah.
So, and most
Yeah.
of this stuff we can control. The vast majority we can't. There's little things that no company control. Like some of these sites that we take you to, they do have locals that are there, and they're from one of the first tribes of Egypt, even before
Mm.
the Arabs came in. Um, and Bedouin people, that's what they are.
Bedouins.
Um, yeah, the Bedouin people. So they're also in Israel. Um,
Hmm.
I'm sure you've seen that. But anyways, like what these guys will do sometimes is, they'll say, "Hey, let me show you this one part here. Let me show you this one site." And
Mm.
then you kind of just okay, and you kind of go in there, and then they want money and all this. And this is again why we say, please stay with your tour guide. If somebody
Mm.
approaches you on the street, or even at a site or whatever, just it's okay to say, hi or whatever. But you're not the first person that guy has approached today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so just think of it like you're at the bar and a guy approaches you. It's the same agenda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody wants something. Um, so that's all that is.
And that reminds me of what I started with, which is when you think you're being like such a smart traveler, you can save so much money by going direct to these guys on the Nile and getting yourself a cruise. It is not what you think it is. So there are people who are lying to you about what you're buying. There are people who you can't trust what they're putting you on. Even if you say, I want this specific boat on this specific day, you might not get it. So it's really safer for you to use me and use Charlie and have some experts who know the situation down there. Or is it up there? Out there?
Over there.
Over there.
Over there. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, if it was such an easy country to do, we wouldn't be there, right, Lainey? Because you could
Exactly.
just show. You could just show up. But Egypt, it takes a lot of research, and basically interviewing a lot of people, training the right people, and for
Hmm.
them to do our systems the way we want them done. It's hard because with some of these guys, they've done things a certain way their whole life. So when we sit there and say, no, you're not taking our customers to these carpet shops and to your
Right.
buddy's perfume shop. And fortunately, we don't have these kind of problems. Our guides have been trained by us, and they do it the way we want. But when you just kind of find somebody off the street, that's what you're going to be doing. Rather than spending 2 hours at the pyramids, you're going to be spending 2 hours at some buddy's shop, and he's going to try to sell you his other body's
Yeah.
carpet or whatever, and he's going to be trying to take a commission for it. Um,
Yeah.
because
I
you
hate
don't,
that.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
that's like my
I do.
least favorite kind of tour is when they make you go to all these retail shops and it's all just for them to get money. So, yeah, that's not my kind of touring.
Yeah, and some of these guys that haven't been trained properly, they chase the penny, lose the dollar. That's the expression.
Yes.
Because like, you're going to get a $20 commission by you're going to get a $20 commission by selling somebody's carpet or whatever. And the
Yeah.
American or Canadian or whatever, the Westerner knows that you're not putting his interest
Exactly.
first. And that $100 tip that you would have given him, now you're going to give him $5. You see,
Right.
so that's where they end up chasing the penny, losing the dollar. And with us, you don't have to worry about that stuff because we know exactly what our customers want and we know exactly how they want it.
Exactly.
So we give it to them that exact way. Um, so that is that, and then there's the GEM Museum, GEM. That
Right.
is relatively new. They
Thank
had
you.
you.
Sorry,
Oh,
I was just talking about to one of our viewers. I put in they're enjoying our show.
um, so the GEM Museum, GEM. This is new. It was relocated from the old Egyptian museum, and this thing is first class museum. This one, it is like it is even better than the one they had before. It's in a newer building.
Mm,
The other one was in a historic building, but they really made this thing first class. What's
mm,
on display. So on this day, and it's a very long day, we take you to the three most famous sites for pyramids, and otherwise take you to that museum.
mm. Oh, there was something I was going to ask you about the pyramids. Oh, do they tell you who built them?
um, tell me.
Was it the aliens? Sorry, there's
Yeah.
it's South by has a great new documentary about the aliens that you guys should all watch.
Uh,
The Age of Discovery, I think it's called. Anyway, go ahead.
well. Um, yeah, I thought you were going to say something like that, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to break the joke for you. I wanted you to slam dunk that one. So
It's not a joke, right? Who else could have done it?
um, there's different theories behind it because the engineering of it is very sophisticated, and they don't even know where the tools were. I mean, to cut things like
Yeah,
that, right? I mean, because you
right.
can't just. I mean, you're cutting this thing to perfection with measurements and engineering.
Mm,
So what tools do they even use? We don't know. So
yeah.
that is one of the mysteries to
Hmm.
mankind for sure. Now, people who want just our classic or ancient tour, it kind
Hmm.
of ends there because the next day we take you to Cairo and you call it a day. However,
Mm,
the ones that want the grand tour, this is when we basically take you to Sharm,
mm,
and that is what we typically do as the final part of the tour. And Sharm is the other famous resort town. It's just as pretty as Hurghada. It's just as fashionable as Hurghada. Um, and it also has a great spot for going snorkeling and seeing
Mm.
coral. But otherwise, there's a nice place that we take you. You go quad riding over there.
Ah.
Yeah, you go quad
Can
riding.
can you do scuba diving if you want?
You can, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The default that we do, the default that we do is snorkeling. But if people provide the certificate, we will do the scuba diving for them. No, it's not a big
Okay.
change for us. It's an easy thing. Um, and we also do the quad riding, and that quad leads to this desert, and there's a belly
Mm.
dancing show.
Mm.
Lots of fun, lots and lots of fun over there.
That sounds like a
Um,
great way to end it.
yeah, that is the right way to do it. And then we basically fly you back to Cairo, and you fly out. However, sometimes if they're using Turkish Airlines, they don't have to fly back to Cairo. You basically go from Sharm to Istanbul, and then Istanbul back to the United States. It just
Ah.
depends where you're flying from, but all that stuff we take care of internally. You don't have to worry
Exactly.
about that stuff. Yeah, yeah,
And the
we
great
we
thing
figure out
about
all that stuff here.
Turkish Air is if you have over an 8 hour layover with Turkish Air, or maybe it's 9, they give you a free hotel or they give you a free tour. I've done the free tour and it was awesome. So I really love Turkish Air and I love the Istanbul airport. It was huge and just like amazing. People are afraid of Turkish Air for some reason, but it's one of the best airlines. Fabulous food. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is a good one. It is a good one indeed. So overall, I like our Egypt tour for many reasons, but overall, I would say the first one, um, of course, the archaeology, but the nature is also very nice. We can't forget about that. And if people have a little extra time, we recommend they make a day trip from Sharm to Saint Catherine Monastery. This is a
Mm,
famous Greek monastery. We get there nice and early in the morning. You also go camel riding over there, and
mm,
you got beautiful views from above. That's where it's nicest,
mm,
and the scenery is nice over there. Then afterwards, we get you to the bottom of it. You go inside, you see what the monastery is like,
mm.
and then we bring you back to Sharm. But this is especially for people who like that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
religious sites, historic sites. St. Catherine Monastery is a good add-on
Mm,
to this, which is typically a 11-day tour if you're doing the grand tour of
right.
Egypt. The other one that we use as an add-on is Alexandria,
Right.
and that is the city of Alexander the Great. I'm Greek, so we have a special place in our heart from Alexandria. It doesn't have lots of archaeological remains like you find elsewhere because there was earthquakes and other things that happen
Mm.
over there. The best thing to see in Alexandria is under the water.
Oh.
So if you like scuba diving
Mm.
and you want to see very cool archaeological sites under the water,
Oh,
that's the place to do it over in Alexandria.
that's
So
cool.
the only thing to know though about Alexandria, it's in the Mediterranean. So Sharm, it's the Red Sea. That one you can go anytime. It's always good.
Mm.
The Mediterranean, though, is cold in the winter months. So if you want to go to Alexandria, this is better for like May, something like this. So that's the tricky part, exactly when you're going to Egypt. For me,
Mm.
I think the best time to go is November through April. That is their winter, but their winter is like 70 to 75 degrees.
Mm.
Their summers are insanely hot.
Yeah.
July, August, stuff like that. So if you can only go in July, this would be a good time to add Alexandria.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that whole thing is.
So what's
And
under the water? Is it parts of the city are in,
heads, like
oh.
statue heads and stuff like that. Really, really
Mm.
cool stuff.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah, really cool stuff. But again, more of a summer destination.
Right.
And then from there, if people have like really a lot of extra time, and they say, hey, you know what? Now we just want to relax. Like we just want to we packed in the archaeology, we've
Hmm.
packed in all this other stuff, the quad riding, the hot air balloon, the camel riding. Now we just want to go somewhere and shop and do nothing. Um, what we typically do in the summer months is we take them from Alexandria to the North Coast. That's what that's called,
Hmm.
the North Coast. This is, I honestly, I wish we would learn from this because
Hmm.
this is something the rest of the world is doing that we're not catching on to as quickly.
Hmm.
So companies from Dubai and elsewhere, they are taking land
Hmm.
in the middle of nowhere and they are turning it into these fashionable cities overnight. I mean,
Right.
Dubai is an example of
I
that,
was
right?
gonna say that. Yeah, Dubai.
Yeah. All
Hmm.
right. That area in Egypt is becoming the next Dubai, basically.
Hmm.
And again, Americans aren't going to know about that. But if you ask like Arab Americans, they're all going to know. They're going to know about that place because that's where they go
Hmm.
shopping and buy all these expensive stuff and everything else.
Yes.
But again, if you're going in May, June, July, August, and you want to just relax after all the packed-in sightseeing and all that stuff, you go to Alexandria and then you can go to the North Coast. But most people don't. Most people visit November through April, and they do our tour starting in Aswan, and either they cut out the Red Sea, or
Hmm.
when they listen to me, they include it because they realize it's a big deal, and
Right.
they do it. That's kind of how we do it.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing tour, and I have so many suppliers that have options for Egypt, and I just really like the way that Charlie does it. Charlie gives you so much in such a great value and really safety first, which is really important in Egypt. So, do you know off the top of your head about pricing, or is that one not something you memorized?
That's the only one I don't have memorized.
I
Every
figured.
um, my colleague on your thread there, she'll text that to you right now. She'll let
Oh,
you know in just a second what that price is. Safety, I think we covered it. Um, just to avoid the water and otherwise stick to your tour guides and stuff like that.
yeah.
Um, in any time we haven't had problems with safety, but the typical complaints of safety, I mean, usually we're not talking about serious violence. It's more like trying to get some extra money out of people and things like this. And that's why you just ignore them. I mean, that's really the answer to it. Just simply
Right.
ignore it. Um, that's that. The food. Sometimes people
Mm,
ask us about the food.
that's
It
right.
is it is Arabic food. Um, I like a little bit spicy. North African food is like Arabic food, like Middle Eastern food, but just a little bit on the spicier side. I wouldn't say that Egypt has the best food in that region. Like Jordan does it really good. Turkey does it really good.
Mm,
But in Egypt, you will still find good food. For me, the best food you're going to find um, are at these hotels where we take you to, because you're staying at five-star hotels with us.
right.
So you are eating very good food at these hotels. Um, Sometimes people want to get their own hotels, and we say okay, but you get very good value in Egypt with the hotels. So
Right.
um, getting a five-star hotel there, the $30 or $40 a night you're going to save on a four-star hotel, I don't think it's worth it because the difference between a five-star and a four-star
Mm,
is huge in Egypt.
yeah. Mm,
Excuse me.
sorry. So that just makes me think of traveling anywhere in the world. Americans think of the quality of a four-star or five-star here, and it is not the same anywhere else in the world. So, if you're in Europe, anywhere, you can't really compare apples to apples. So take our word for it when we tell you you need to be in a five-star. That's what you should be in this area.
Yeah, don't mess with only say five-star in Egypt.
I
That's
think you need to take some water some more.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I do.
So, Alex, in the back there, if Evelyn had said how much the pricing is for this, if you could put it up on the screen, because I can't see anything. We have our staff behind the scenes helping us out. I have Alex and Charlie has Evelyn. And if you would like to scan, oh, here it is, 2607 per person. And that is, but we have
For,
supplementary for the minimum of two people to operate the tour. What does that
yeah,
mean?
um, so what that is for a grand tour, the 11 day,
Mm,
which is, very good price. The only thing with this one, we need two people to run it. Most of our tours, we even do it with solo travelers.
Right.
Egypt is the only one where we say we need two people.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's a minimum two people, 2607 per person, based on double
Exactly.
occupancy. Okay,
There you go.
gotcha. All
That's
right.
that's exactly what that is.
It's a great
Um,
price, amazing price with everything that
and,
you've included.
and the one thing also is because we talked about the star ratings and all. So there's the hotel stars. There's also the boats in the different categories.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
so between the 4 and 5 stars, there's not a big price difference in Egypt for the hotels, but there is a very big price difference with the boats. So we use Concerto typically or Nile Premium,
Mhm.
and both of them are good quality. There is one higher quality than that, but the price difference is insane. And for how much more you pay versus the difference in quality, I generally don't think it's worth the extra money. But sometimes people want it, and we do it for them. It's perfectly fine with
Right.
us. Um, but it's kind of funny how they do it because you just talked about the star rating and how it works in America.
Hmm.
In Egypt, it doesn't work like that, right? So with even with the cruises, they used to say, "Well, here's the 4 star." Okay, and then next guy came, "Here's the 5 star." Okay, here's the 5 star deluxe,
Deluxe,
and
right?
then and then no, I'm serious. I'm
I
serious.
know,
These are
I
real
know.
titles. And then here's the 5 star super deluxe. Then came the super deluxe. So they just keep making up their own names for all this stuff. And the next one will be the super duper deluxe. You know what I mean? And then you're just like, who's actually tracking any of this stuff? Mohammed or Ahmed? Which one? You know what I mean? So, um,
All right.
so
So
yeah.
let's wrap up. So this is our last Travel Talk Tuesday we're going to have for a while because Charlie's off to India to create some fabulous India itineraries. Um, Thank you. Always happy to see you guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. So please scan the QR code and enter to win our $10,000, excuse me, our $10,000 sweepstakes. You can do $10,000 if you win towards any land or sea vacation, including some great vacations from Charlie's. You could go on several of Charlie's vacations for $10,000. So please enter to win. And on any of our streaming networks, put hashtag Travel Talk Tuesday, and I will give you a $50 gift certificate towards any Charlie the Traveler tour anywhere in the world. And just because he's going off to India does not mean that his business stops. We book constantly while both of us are traveling, so that is not a problem. So please let us know if you need anything. And Charlie, have a great time in India. Oh,
Let's please stay.
I think you
You hear
froze
me?
again. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, please let's keep in contact because I absolutely love talking to you. Um, and yeah, I love this stuff that we're doing. And at least now you can see with me driving, I'm not reading off notes or anything. Because sometimes people ask me and they say, Charlie, when you're doing these shows, are you just reading off your notes? I'm like, no, I just straight out of my mouth. Like the only one that I had to look up the note was when you asked me about that one.
The
The,
Hobbiton.
oh God, that darn Hobbiton, and because everybody loves the movie, and it was one of the scenes from it. I don't watch any movies at all, so it was
Well,
just like I was stumped. I was definitely stumped on that one.
it's okay. I think we can deal with one issue with Lord of the Rings movies. I think we're fine. Well, this was our 18th episode. So please go to our YouTubes, go to Instagram, Facebook, follow us everywhere. And watch our 18 episodes. We have talked about 18 different destinations. And when Charlie's back from India, we will pick it up again. So stay tuned.
Thank you, lady.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks so much for
Okay,
this. Has been a really fun 18 episodes. So thank you.
we're gonna pick up where we left off. I
All
promise you.
right. Yeah. So travel safe in India.
Thank you, lady. Yeah, lady, that was good.
It's
So
always